What is up, everyone? Oh, look at my hair looking a little crazy, but that's okay. I hope everyone is having a great Sunday thus far. I'm going to fix myself to look a little more, whatever, but it looks like we're live. Welcome, everyone, to the first Media Meets Brunch. Look who is here. Levok is here. Gadget Girl, T-Hall. What is up? Dr. Joy is here, too. Look, I am super excited. After Dark with Johnny Ray, welcome. Terry Johnson, online. Happy New Year, my dear. How are you? Yay! This is going to be the events of events, ladies and gentlemen. So thank you so much for being here. Look who's here, Kicking with Jazz. Oh, thank you. Yeah, except for this piece of hair, right? Okay, there we go. There we go. Don't move. There we go. Now I look kind of $1 million-ish. Thank you. I hope everybody is having a great Sunday thus far. We're about to have an even better Sunday. We have DJ MyThai, who, for those of you who don't know, she's one of the CQ Massive or the CQ family, and she is spinning insecure songs. So she is actually probably getting ready to go off the air right now. And happy New Year, T-Hall. How are you? Harlem Wren. Hello. And Sunshine Lady and STT Queen B. Welcome. Thank you. And Miss P. Roach is here. Oh boy, Curtis Brooks. MC Curtis is in the house. For those of you who don't know MC Curtis, he is my producer and unseen co-host on Mediascope. Wow. Happy New Year, Dr. Joy and Sandy Sandra McBride. We are going to get ready to start because we're only going to be on for an hour. We started a little later than we normally would have because we wanted to give DJ MyThai, a chance to spin some records from Insecure. Records? Do they still call them records? Whatever. I'm calling them records. Let me give you guys a big hug to let you know I appreciate you being here. You could be any place else, but you chose to be here with me. What is up, MC Curtis? And look, I am super excited because it's not just going to be me today. There are 3 other fantastic women who are going to be on, and we're going to be talking all things Insecure. I can't wait. So for those of you who don't know what the hell Insecure is, stay seated and fasten your seatbelts. You will soon get to know what it is. All right, she did a whole Insecure playlist, and so I'm like, let's let her go and get some wings, because I know how it is when you get into your groove as a DJ. No, I don't. I'm not a DJ, but I can imagine. And I watch DJs when they get into the groove, and I didn't want to cut her off. So if we had thought about it, we would have coordinated this earlier. She, said, hey, can I spin? Yeah? That's a great idea. We should have thought about that before. So, Barry's daughter, welcome. Miss Funky Librarian, how are you? And William Solutions, happy Sunday to you. D. Faye is here all the way from Italy. Good to see you. And Gemini Joy, hey, I'm so glad you are not flying. So, thank you for being here. So, Miss P. Roach and Bronx Girl, hello. So, without any further ado, let's bring them on. So, hopefully, you all have requested. Ladies, did you request? Let's see, maybe I'm going to request you. So let's go in no particular order. Marlo Faye, I see you here. Hello. Let's bring on the individual who I'm going to invite, Gadget Girl, first. She is the individual kind of for us talking about Insecure. And she should be going on. If you did not get the, okay, here we go. She's coming. Gadget Girl.
Hey.
What is up? Look at you looking all brunch-like. Look at you here. I'm going to raise this for a minute so that you don't see, no face. What is up, lovely?
Hello. I'm loving your energy. You got me ready. I was sitting there like, yes, bring me in. I'm ready.
No, I know, because, we had our little batch. I was like, you on? I was like, hold on, y'all. Hold on. Wait now. I'm coming. Though. And, I started to mess with you and make jollof rice, but I didn't do it.
Okay.
I didn't do it.
Why?
Because I wanted to show you what proper jollof looks like, but I didn't do it. But I am super glad that you are here. You look amazing. I can't wait to talk with you. We'll go round and do like kind of proper introductions, like proper jollof in a minute. Let me bring on the other. Who said that? Did I? I did. Here we go. Let's see. Let's bring on. I see Mellow Mika is here. I'm going to bring her in. And then we'll go with our last panelist. Mellow Mika, I have sent you the bat call. I need you with cats up. What? Look at you, brunch like. You better brunch. You better brunch with your turban. You better brunch. Look at you with the hoop earrings. Yes.
My
There
husband,
we
said,
go.
my husband said I was channeling Issa, Mika, Issa. He said it sounded
Yes.
similar. You know.
You see why it pays to pick the right people to be on with you, because you don't have to say anything. They just come ready. They come ready to
Always.
go. Always. Shawana, what's up? I see you. You better, kicking it with Josh, you better brunch. Hey, look at you. See you. Sister, looking good. And we have one other sister that is from the CQ family that is going to join us, and that would be Dr. Joy. Dr. Joy, request if you, I don't have any requests, but let me see if I can find you in the mission. Aha, I'm going to invite you. Dr. Joy, come on, come in. I'm sending you the bat signal so that you can cut. And look at her.
Hey.
Look at her with the brunch ready, twist out fresh for brunch. Yes.
Coffee.
Wow. Coffee. Cheers. Yeah, exactly. Yes. Yes. And of course, stupidly, I have nothing to drink, but I got my food. I looked and I was like, how the hell? I hope I don't choke. So, one of you will have to take over if I start feverishly coughing. But, it is what it is. Ladies, I want to thank you so much for being here for the very first Media Meets Brunch. Let me tell you a little bit about the background of this. So in 2020, I said, I want to do a show where I do, because brunch is like my favorite thing. I love cooking brunch. I love making, I see you, Issa, getting shaky. I see you. So that is like my absolute favorite thing to make. And I said, you know what? I'd love to do a thing where I talk about like a media story or some media phenomenon one Sunday a month. And now thinking about it, we'll see. But but I wanted to do something like that, and that's where the idea for Media Meets Brunch comes from. And then when I saw Gadget Girl, who wrote this one, who is Tasha, by the way, I'm sorry, Tasha, who wrote this dissertation defense for her feelings on Insecure. She really did. I was like, you have passed with distinction and more. You have passed with distinction. And so I saw that and I was like, well, it feels like a lot of people are still sad about it. This is like a week later. So I was like, okay, well, maybe it will die down. It did not. So I was like, you know what? What better way to start off the first episode than with this type of talk? And so when I just looked at the people who made comments I said, oh, okay, come on. Oh,
Right.
okay,
See?
here we go. And we're devastated. That's how devastated we are. It just, even the tripod is devastated. The tripod is even sad, damn it. I mean, so that's where we're coming from this. So I just am giving like kind of handles in a way, but let's go around. Let's start with Tasha. Tasha, introduce yourself and what you do or whatever you'd like to tell us.
Yes, so I am Tasha, aka Gadget Girl. I represent Queens.
York and
But I live out on Long Island, so that's me. And by day I work in human resources at a major technology company, and by night you can catch me in the virtual clubs, letting off a little bit of steam, and singing kind of loud in the chat, and cutting up a rug.
Very, very loud. Let's correct that. Very loud. Go ahead.
I'm pretty loud in the chat.
Quite loud, yes.
Yeah, I realize that. I own it.
That's okay.
Yeah, come on. I gotta bring the energy everywhere. But yeah, so that's a little bit about me, and I'm really excited to be here and chat with all of you on the screen, but also with all of you in the chat. Hey, everybody.
Yes. And let's bring it. And people in the chat, you are going to have DM's place. I'm glad you love this. And okay, so DM is actually a for real TV person, unlike my pretend self. So I would love if when we start to rotate seats, Donna Marie, if you could come in. Definitely, we need to hear what you think about this. Grandma was 99. What's up? John Ashley, what's up? It seems like there are a lot of New Yorkers, and I think for some reason I picked all New Yorkers. The New York energy is strong. I'm an upstate New Yorker originally, but I rep Brooklyn and Bronx. So all right. Let's go around clockwise. We're gonna go to Dr. Joy. She was the second individual I reached out to. Dr. Joy, tell us who you are and what you do.
Hey y'all, I'm Dr. Joy. I am a radiologist by day. I am representing the Bronx, although I'm actually quietly from Baltimore, Maryland, but don't tell anybody that.
We didn't hear that.
And as well, you can see me in the chats and the clubs by night. I have 2 children here who are driving me nuts. I hope they don't come up behind me while I'm on here, but they may.
That's fine.
Not, I don't know. But we're just going to keep it moving and keep rolling regardless, right? So I'm really happy to be here. Loved Insecure, have lots of things to say about it, and looking forward to this chat. Thanks for inviting me.
Absolutely, absolutely. How would I not? Thank you so much. And the person who was channeling Issa Rae, the person with the turban that works beyond that, is saying, I am brunch, I am love. We've got Mika over in the bottom left-hand corner. Mika, introduce yourself and what you do.
Hi, everybody. For those of you who may or may not follow me, my handle is Mellow Meek. And I am also from New York, Harlem World baby. So I'm so excited repping for NYC today. By day, I am a luxury retail sales associate and an aspiring podcaster and stylist. You also always see me in the chats. I'm very, very engaged, for lack of a better word. And yes, I'm an Insecure fanatic. I am not over it. I am not okay. I have not been able to watch the episodes again because it's just too emotional for me. But yeah, I reached out because EXO said, I know Meek wants to talk about this. She wants to do a, and she's the one who tagged me. And then I reached out to Dr. Tachi and was just like, hey, can I join your panel if you have room? So thank you so much. I'm glad to meet you, Girl. Maybe we could hook up because I'm also on Long Island currently. And like I said, glad to see everybody. And I'm going to try to say hi to everybody in the comments. But thank you. Happy Sunday.
Absolutely. Happy Sunday. Happy Sunday. Cliff Sobel, I see you. D. Faye, I see you. Let's see. Soul Star is here. Marissa Tigney Podcast, the queen of all media, is here as well. Welcome. Native of New York is here. And so, you know, we're pulling the New York energy. We are pulling that in. So with that, we're going to talk about another major city, LA, and I want to start to get into it. And this is kind of open. I encourage all of you in the audience, if you have comments or questions or whatever, please put them in the chat, put them in the, let me not lie about the question box because I might not look, but just put them in the chat or something. Look. Let me tell the truth and shame the devil. But you can't put them in the question box. I may see them, and we'll do that. And also, what we're going to do is we're going to do a switcheroo. So periodically, one of them will drop off. What I was going to have you do is do like a Squid Game thing, and that was good. But then I said no, that won't work. So we're going to skip Squid Game, and we're going to just kind of have people.
Really scary, really fast.
I know. But
I don't even know what to
yeah, don't worry about it. Never mind. Never mind. I don't want you to have I don't want you to have dreams about giant dolls and kids games. So we're gonna rotate, and that'll give audience members a chance to come in if there's something that you would like to say. So we'll do that periodically, and you know the main panel members will drop. I would drop myself, but that would drop the entire stream. No, we don't want that. We don't want that. So we're going to go till 2:40 because that's when we started. So hopefully that's okay with you all. And we're just going to bop hit it. All right. So let's start with this line of questioning. There are a couple of things that I wanted to bring out too in terms of thoughts. But oh no, I can't do that yet. What are you eating? What's for brunch?
Okay.
What y'all brunching on?
Listen.
I have a cinnamon raisin bagel. I'm New York through and through. I got a raisin bagel and a cup of coffee.
Nice.
A raisin bagel and a cup of coffee. All right. Very good. What about you? Any of you?
Okay.
Either one of you.
I did this for you. So, wait, go ahead. Dr. Joy.
I made a spinach and mushroom quiche. And I'm drinking orange juice, and I have not added the champagne yet, but it'll be coming very shortly.
I'm on my way. On my way.
Look at this. Wow. Good for so the woman actually made quiche for this. That's serious brunch. That is serious brunch. All right. Gadget girl, come on with it. We already have a quiche.
I have
okay.
So this is This is bean stew and Gary. So,
Bean stew and Gary?
yes, bean stew and Gary. So, and the
Wow.
beans.
Explain what that is. Okay.
Gary, and the Gary is basically it's coarse cassava flour. And so my husband made it. My husband is from Ghana and grew up in Nigeria for many years. So yeah, so he made the bean stew and the Gary for me.
Ooh.
Wow. Bean stew and Gary. That's what I'm talking. That is brunch. That's African brunch. All right. That's what I'm talking about. All right. So then I guess I have to share what I did. So I don't know if you could see, but I did a croissant French toast and a spinach mushroom feta asparagus frittata.
Ooh.
Yeah. So that's what I did. And that's what I'm going to be noshing on. That's my absolute favorite. And in the croissant French toast, obviously it's croissant, but I did vanilla extract. I also did nutmeg. I also did cinnamon. You could do something like make it a little rummy. You could do rum. You could do, what is that? The orange liqueur. Grand Marnier. You could do things like that if you are into that. So that's what I did for that. And that's what we're going to be noshing on.
Y'all are fancy.
Nice.
Delicious.
No, but raisin bagel is a classic.
Exactly.
Yes.
I have a whole bag of that downstairs. Yes.
You went with the classic, exactly.
Thank
That's
you.
what I'm talking about.
You have food. That's what matters. Because you came without food, I was going to get my grade book and give you an F. But you passed. You passed. Here we go. So let's start to talk about Insecure. And again, remember, I see already a question in there or a question. So I'll get to it in just a moment. Let's talk about what Insecure meant to each one of you. And those of you in the chat, I kind of want you to put that out there too, because I will be reading them periodically. Let's start with Dr. Joy. What did Insecure mean to you?
So I started watching Insecure the very first season, and I've been watching ever since. And so I am, a little bit heartbroken that it's over, but really pleased with the ending, and for the most part. What it meant was really seeing people just like me on the screen, and really in an authentic way, not in a way that is just sort of comedy for everybody, but it really was a show that was made for us. It was made by us. It just meant the world to see these relationships, these very complex relationships, whether it be family relationships, romantic relationships, friendships, on the screen in a really, really authentic way, just reminding me of my own sort of history and background. So it was really just a beautiful show all around.
Wonderful, wonderful. Mika.
Same sentiments. I mean, the word that comes, or the words that come when I think of Insecurity is blackity black, 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 unapologetically black. And that's why this turban and my hoop earrings. My husband, he always says, you don't give me credit. He said, you have to watch this show. I watched the first episode and I was just like, I'm not really sure if I get this. By the second episode, in the middle of the second episode, I was hooked. And I can't get enough of it. I'm still heartbroken that it's over. I haven't accepted it. But for me, it was, and I watched the documentary, which to me was probably better than the actual ending of the show.
Okay.
The thing that resonated with me in that documentary was how blackity black, black, black they organically and authentically were. And I just remember, I'm getting goosebumps as I speak, seeing all these beautiful Black people every week and thinking to myself, wow, like we are really some amazingly beautiful people, and so broad and so diverse. And yeah, that's what sticks with me, is the fact that Issa was able to keep that so present from season 1 to season 5, and how it evolved and grew. And so I'm going to miss that. I'm going to miss seeing that and see how, but that's what it means to me. Just the love of Blackness that was stuck with me.
Absolutely. And it was intentional as well. It was that intentionality.
Yeah, it was organic. It was natural. There was nothing forced. There was nothing written or rehearsed about it. It was, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to put you know, different things, and it just flowed seamlessly, like passing a baton in a track race. You never saw a break in it and was like, I didn't get that. I don't understand that. So that's what.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Gadget.
Yeah. No, I was just going to say that everything that was said already, absolutely agree. I mean, to me, Insecure was just, you just felt the love every time you watched an episode. It didn't feel forced. It felt organic for sure. Personally, I absolutely felt seen. We talk a lot about feeling seen, being seen, you know, particularly when we're in the club and what have you. Insecure, Issa, I saw myself in her. I saw myself in practically every character, but particularly her, you know, as she brought her awkwardness, you know, her blackness to the storyline. You know, she allowed everyone to bring a little bit of themselves, you know, to each of the characters. And that's what I really appreciated. You know, I see in the comments is that the range of blackness, it just showed how multidimensional we are in a very, like was said, a very authentic way. But the other piece of it that I think that we touched on as well, from an industry perspective, the way that Issa Rae created so many jobs, you know, and I watched the documentary too. Like, this is so true. She was out there making things happen for people who didn't have these opportunities before. You know what I mean? In a way that, and there were some quotes, and I you know, I jotted them down, but there was one woman, she was the director of photography, and she said, you know what, there are a lot of women in the camera department. Why? Because I made that happen.
Right.
She was at the table. And that's what Issa made happen. You know, and that's what I love about it, from a personal perspective, but also from a perspective of diversity in front of the screen and behind the screen. It's just beautiful.
Absolutely. And even things like, you know, my thing is always look at fashion. Whenever I'm watching any show, fashion is my thing. And I'm just thinking about the opportunities that the show created for a lot of Black designers, particularly if we think about, okay, season 5, remember there was this whole thing of the actual fashion show being present in, was it episode, I don't remember which episode, but it was like 2 episodes before the finale. Which they had actual Black designers, and they made a point to give shine to Black designers. In the world of fashion, it's hard in general in the world of fashion, but it's even harder for designers of color. I would say more specifically Black designers. So I was really happy to see Black designers getting a shot. So that, I mean, that's what it meant to me. The same thing that Gadget Girl said, giving voice in all different types of ways, whether it's behind the camera, in front of the camera. It was phenomenal. It was a marker of our time. It's almost, I don't want to say it's the end of an era. When you look at some shows now, you may think yes, but I'll be quiet. Who said that? I didn't.
Don't say it. Come on.
Don't say it.
Yeah, I know. I'm trying to reduce the shade because I know who I am and I know who I can be, and it's not shady. And you know, here's the thing. So speaking of shade, then I'm kind of jumping around with what some of the things. Let's talk about beyond the things that we think were great. We'll come back to them. Let's talk about some of the challenges that we may have had with either the series as a whole or this final season. And I'm asking you this because often when there is one of something, so think about it. If there is let's go with a soul food restaurant in a place where there are no other soul food restaurants, you have a tendency not to want to criticize them because it's the only soul food restaurant around, right? So we have a thing, and it's not that that is the only show around that features Black characters, but it's one of few. And sometimes we have the tendency not to want to be honest or criticize because we don't want to tear down. So being honest, what were some of the things that were challenges that you think could have been done better throughout the series and also in season 5? Anybody can start.
I mean, I think for me, I'm gonna go right to season 5 because I think that was probably the most challenging season for me. I didn't enjoy the season. I enjoyed watching the girls because I knew this was the final season and I knew this was it for me. But overall, I felt like it was a season 2 for me. But one of the things that stuck out for me that was an issue was the underdevelopment of Kelly's character. I think Kelly was the superstar, was the breakout star of the show, entire series now. And so when we got to the final season, when they kind of fast forwarded everything and didn't show enough of Kelly's development, but Kelly was dropping super gems, I was very, very much disappointed. You know, when we get to the end of the series and we see Tiffany's pregnant and we don't know if Kelly had the baby, is pregnant, lost the baby. She found the love of her life. She's in a new role at Molly's job, at Molly's firm. I thought that was a disservice to Kelly because for me, I felt like Kelly was the glue of the four of them, and I would have liked to have seen 1 or 2 episodes where they dig into Kelly a little bit more, as opposed to Nansford coming back and saying goodbye. I could have done without that, and some other things, but that to me stuck out a lot.
Anybody else?
I agree with you, actually. I think that Kelly was definitely one of my favorite characters. I mean, some of the things that came out of her mouth were just absolutely hysterical, and her physical comedy as well. Like, thinking about her on the ground, when
I was just thinking about that episode.
Right, remember me different.
That was one of my favorite moments in the entire
Mm-hmm.
series, honestly. But I agree with you. And the other thing that bothered me a little bit about the last season was, Molly and Issa ended up from the 4th season, they were in a really bad place. And when we came back to the 5th season, that just kind of almost got swept under the rug. I didn't see, an actual, culmination or sit down and talk about what all of these things that happened between us over these last months or year, however long it was that was happening. It just kind of went away. And I think that there was opportunity to explore how to heal those situations, how to mend and how to move forward as friends in a friendships like that. Because when there are always challenges that are going to come up, how do you heal them and move on? I don't think that was really shown enough for me.
Could it have been, before we get Tasha to weigh in, could it have been that was just the nature of their relationship? Because if you look throughout the 5 seasons, there never were really, even with episode 1, something happened where she embarrassed Molly and Molly was upset. She brought over food. They never really dealt with it in a real way. So could that just be true to their characters, that that's what they did? They just kind of, even though this was a bigger thing, could that just be the nature of their relationship? Could that just be the nature of relationships on TV when you only have an hour to deal with it? Just a thought. Just a thought. Go ahead, Tasha.
Yeah, I mean, that was actually going to be my point in terms of my frustration. I think it's just a frustration that they've been dealing with from the beginning of the series, is just that there isn't enough time. I think we've also complained, quote unquote, about 30 minutes not being enough to tell the story. I mean, I think I can also say the character of Lawrence, even though we spent some time with him, towards the end, there was a lot of interesting stuff happening to him that we didn't get to explore. Like him being a dad, would love to have known, a little bit more about what happened there, and how they came full circle in the end. Would love to have unpacked that a little bit more. But yeah, while I was frustrated that it moved so quickly, and I'm telling you, I was trying to live tweet while watching the final episode, and I would look down, look up, and miss something. So it was really too fast. But I do commend them for wrapping up all of the stories in some form or fashion. But I agree, it wasn't as satisfying. But that was tough. So I give them credit for it.
Yeah. And some people were satisfied. Was I? I'm sorry, some people may hate me for this. I kind of think they threw that last episode away. They're like, we're done, and just threw it away. I just think so. I think. Go ahead.
Go ahead,
it seemed as they've talked about the season, this being the last season for a while, and it seemed as though this was done in a rush. Like I said, it felt very season 2, 3, like an in-between season. It didn't. And, you know, I don't want to be highly critical, but it felt very TV-like. We didn't know what time, how many years in the future we were.
Yeah, that.
We were never in the
Yeah.
pandemic. And I understand wanting a break from the pandemic, but that's not realistic, right? We never talk about wearing a mask, we never talk about anything. It felt very bubble-like. And I'm like, okay, well, what year is this? Is this before the pandemic?
Right.
Rush 2 and 3 years, but like, is this post-pandemic? Like, what year are we in? And that didn't feel realistic. That felt very TV.
Right.
And I didn't like that at all. It was
Right.
driving crazy. I was like, my ink self needs to know, what timestamp is this? What date is this? And you know, that felt very rushed. It didn't seem polished. But I'm not a you know, sitcom or, you know, writer, so I don't know how that works. And I agree that 30 minutes is tough, but this is 30 minutes, 5 seasons now, y'all. So we can't keep using that. Let's work with what we've been working with for the last 5 seasons now. Let's do it. So don't use the last season to say we only got 30 minutes. Y'all always had 30 minutes. So let's get it going. So.
And I agree. I think that, you know, here's my thing, that they didn't, and I understand that Issa Rae was ready to end it and move on to other things. But if we look at, for example, Sex and the City as a parallel of this, the final episode, she sees this text from Big, and that's when we find out that his name is John, and they left it open for other things. I think, had they not tried to, you know, it was like, meanwhile, in 2035, what year, like you said, what the hell year is it? What year is it? Are we in, the passage of time was confusing, but had they ended it in real time, perhaps, the cool thing would have been they could have left it open for like a 1 or 2 hour movie, like Sex and the City did. They had all these different scenes, and I'm not saying that that's what they had to do. Maybe she's ready to move on, but I think fans would have appreciated a door open so that they can wrap up some other stories. They do it all the time. Fans request that all the time. But when you jump from, what year are we in? 2021 to 2075. We're a little confused, and there's no need for you to do anything else because they didn't have to I don't feel they needed to wrap everything up in a pretty bow. I like things gritty a little bit. That's just me.
You know what's interesting? I thought that it was wrapped up, or they had tried to wrap it up, and just, you know, today I said, let me rewatch the last episode, and I don't usually watch the thing at the end where the executive,
the wind down.
Yeah, the wind down. Right. I don't usually watch the wind down, but I watched it this time, and they talked about how they actually didn't give it the happily ever after effect. What they did was give it the sort of happy-ish, right? So it wasn't exactly as you would think. It wasn't, and I think what episode was it where they had Issa and Lawrence sort of envision what life would be like with the perfect ending. It wasn't that. They said, you know, things happen along the way, so you're gonna get something that is almost perfect. So in their minds, I think they left it open so that it was sort of pulling out the thread. They could go back in, you know.
I agree. I
Right?
agree. I don't think it's completely closed. I mean, everybody's story we have an answer to a lot of questions that we had about what was going to happen with certain people and what was going to happen to these relationships and their stories. But there is still more life to be lived in each of those stories, I feel.
Right.
So, you know, it could continue. Like you could take Kelly and put her in another whole show, and,
right,
you know, about what's happening with her and her baby. And like you said, we didn't get that answer, you know, what happened to Kelly in that last episode, really. But there's still opportunity to explore these relationships and these lives, and I think in each of the characters.
Exactly. I think I saw in the chat that someone called for a spinoff for Kelly. So
yeah,
absolutely. But the problem is when you try to throw so many things in one, that now you have to go back and say, all right, it ended here. Whereas you could have had a blank slate, kind of a clean slate to make the story go however you wanted. And that's just me. But was for some people, you might like it. That's all right. Let me take some comments from the audience, going back a ways. So Rosie said even watching Molly and Issa's friendship struggles were real for her. Marlo Faye said that her daughter actually watched, starting from her YouTube show, The Misadventures of an Awkward Black Girl, which is how I first found out about Issa Rae, definitely. Let's see. Also, Fenton Haney says, didn't she get a six-figure million deal with Netflix? It was 8 figures with HBO she's gotten. And I think, yes, I think it's 7 figures with Netflix. I'm not sure. I have to check that. But I definitely know she has an 8-figure deal with HBO. 8 figures. We hear about 8.
I can't even think of how many.
I don't even have enough fingers to count that. Exactly. I can't. Absolutely. John Ashley is here. Hello. And Steph is here. Hello, Steph. And she said, Steph, that she really followed through on her own vision. Absolutely. Rosie said Tiffany could remain in Colorado, or if Tiffany remains in Colorado, I don't know if you are saying foreshadowing that she may not remain in Colorado. Are you saying she may not remain in her marriage? That's something else.
I mean, she was not happy. She wasn't happy.
She was not happy. That's all.
She wasn't.
Not happy. And so she's also, because she was not happy, she's also the type of person that is, do I say borderline selfish or real selfish? But it could be also because she's dealing with mental illness. And so that adds a whole other thing. So I'll just say borderline selfish. when it comes to things, borderline selfish.
But her husband was pretty supportive, right? So I mean, we don't know too much about how they got to Denver, Colorado, and there's family out there. But I could see him being supportive of a move back, particularly if it helps with her mental health.
But I think he got a job. He said, right?
Was it a job?
Yeah. So.
Yeah. It's not going to be as easy, but something for them to deal with continuing on. Depending on if all the go ahead.
Yeah, you know what I love? There was something I read a review. There was something about they said that what the thing with Insecure is that they didn't really build it around plot points. They built it around life developments, right?
Correct.
So I could see, that's a life development right there. Your wife is, I don't like living out here, and the husband has a job. What are you gonna do? It's like that's what I love. Just these real gritty, hard to resolve, messy. Situations, and you just see it unfold in a very real way, so. In
a very real way, absolutely. Bryson says that Insecure went up 100% on Rotten Tomatoes. That's our own BBC, Bryan Broadcasting Network. So I knew he would know. Thank you, Bryson, for that. Alyssa said that Tiffany was happy at least once because she had baby number 2. Yeah. Oh. So she was happy at least one more time, as she
didn't
says.
Have anything else. She didn't have anything to do in Denver. She was just, she was bored.
She was bored.
Yeah, exactly.
She missed her girlfriends, though.
Exactly.
It was easier to get up with folks when she was around them. So I get it.
It's a big move. I totally relate. My husband and I moved from Florida to Texas, and that was I mean, it's very real. And postpartum, I don't remember how old the baby was when they moved to Colorado. I'm assuming she was still an infant. That doesn't necessarily go away overnight. You know what I mean?
Right.
And you might that kind of keep you in that space.
Exactly.
Having to move and having to assimilate and kind of integrate and all of that stuff. So it could have taken her a step back as far as her mental
healing
and
her mental, absolutely.
That's a hormonal imbalance, meaning your hormones are up or down depending on where you are in your pregnancy or in trying to get pregnant. Again, that's a lot. So I don't necessarily think that Tiffany was selfish or unhappy. I think she is a real woman going through a lot of emotions based on life events, and I think a lot of times we're quick to judge folks. And I had a conversation with my son, and I said, people have range of emotions, and it's not healthy for you to keep them inside. And it's also not my job to read your mind. So you are upset, sad, angry, frustrated, you need to find a way to convey that, and it's okay for you to sit with it, right? So we're quick as women, especially to judge other women and say, you know, she's being blah blah blah. Well, she's having a moment and she's entitled to that. No one said that we had to be strong and resilient all the time and have not deal with our emotions and sit with them. Just because you're not able to sit with does not mean that I can't sit with my emotions and I'm emotional. That's a negative connotation, which is not. Emotions is not negative. They are negative emotions, but being emotional is not negative. And so for me, that was another thing that I wish they had kind of talked about a little bit more. Even another episode was Tiffany's recovery of postpartum. It is very real, and it is also very real for the people around you. So it was beautiful to see them rally around her and say, no, we're going to get you through this, even if we have to get on a flight to help you through this, because it's very real. So,
Yep, that's true. I mean, I think there was there were a lot of things that they touched on. Even the estate planning, which hit me hard, and Molly sort of dealing with, you know, her parents aging, you know, the death of her mom, you know, that to me felt, and I was talking with another friend, she was like, well, yeah, I didn't need to get into that experience with Molly because it felt like we were thrown in and then pulled back out. But I feel like that, and, you know, what you talked about, Meek, with, you know, postpartum, I felt like it was them trying to bring awareness to it, right? Just peek out, hey guys, just a little something, because, you know, we have your attention with all this other good stuff. We just want to, now that we got you, here's a little PSA. Now I need you to go and do something about this knowledge that we gave to you. You know, so now I'm like, oh, estate planning. I need to do something with that. So I felt like it was sort of the, you know, let's do something with the influence that we have, you know, but you're right, though. I wish we could have gone deeper with it, but I think that's what they were trying to do with it.
I believe you're right. I believe you're right.
Absolutely. Excellent point. D-Face says this about the strong Black woman thing, but they expect that out of Black women, like we're indestructible, and we're not. Often we're not afforded tears, we're not afforded emotions, and so I think it is refreshing to see, and you know, there's always this thing that we always have it together, and on the facade, that may be the case, because you have to present a strong face. Society has made it so that you have to present a strong front, or a strong face, or a strong facade. But inside, you may not be as strong. And so this is why there is this kind of, they'll be all right when it comes to Black women. So it was really good to see Black female characters have emotions. It was great to see Nathan, a Black male character, dealing with mental illness as well, because it's so not talked about, especially in different Black communities, and it doesn't matter the culture, it's not talked about. So the fact that he acknowledged and opened to Issa that he's been dealing with this, because we thought he just straight ghosted her last season. What the hell? Like, burn him at the stake. But then you find out what actually happened, and it's humbling. It's humbling because Black people have feelings too, folks. Let's do this. Let's Kicking It With Jazz says emotions are part of being human. Absolutely. DJ MyThai, and thank you for that awesome set before. Thank you. Says being emotional is being human, as she says as well. And she also says that's what makes the show so special, that it was human. Bronx Girl says this to Mellow Meek. Thank you. I've come full circle and tell people up front that I'm an emotional person, and that's okay. Yep. Absolutely, absolutely. So let's, DM is telling me to preach on this Sunday afternoon. Well, I don't have my my degree in divinity, but, you know, I will throw a little knowledge, communication knowledge every once in a while. So let's do this. Let's start so before we start to rotate, and we'll start with Meek. Is that okay?
Sure.
Okay, so we'll start with Meek dropping out. Well, first, does anybody want to come on? I'm about to, if not, we'll just keep going. But I'm about to put this out there. Favorite moments of the show? What are your favorite? Well, I knew somebody was wanting to come on. So, Meek, before you leave, and then you're going to come back, obviously, we'll bring you back on. Favorite moments of the show, and it could be from any of the seasons you like.
Very easy for me. My favorite episode of the entire series was the closure date with Lawrence and Issa. It is by far the best written date on a series. I'm going to say they should have won an award for that episode. It from beginning to end. I'm getting goosebumps just talking about it. I love that episode. I love the way that they were able to talk and have closure, but still talk about how they're in love with each other. I love that they were honest with one another. They gave the honest answers. They talked about how they felt, why they made the decisions. I mean, very rarely in life are you able to go back to somebody and say what happened, and for you to have this honest conversation without it going left, and it just reminded me why they should have been together. And amazing visually, they looked amazing. It was funny, it was sweet, it was sexy. Again, whenever my husband always says, I know what's your favorite episode of the show, and it's always that episode. Kudos to the team. If I can tell Issa and the team, y'all rock that episode. Like that was the best episode, bar none for me. That's my favorite episode, my favorite moment of the show.
Wow. Okay, Meek, stay here because we're going to bring you back on.
Okay.
So let me have you drop, and there's somebody that is going to come in and take your seat for a moment.
Okay.
So we'll see you soon.
Okay.
Fantastic. And so, I know better than this. As we're waiting to bring on another person, folks, if you are just joining, you are joining Media Meets Brunch. This is where we're talking about a media topic and having brunch today, which I haven't touched, but we will soon.
We can't be eating on here. Come on now.
Yeah, I always teach people don't eat, but I'm like, look, I'm getting hungry. I'm about to break my own rule. So welcome to everybody. I see a whole bunch of Mediascope Massive CQ people that I see Ann Ellis from Breakfast with Dryer Buzz, a lot of people, so thank you so much. Let's see who we can bring on. DJ is coming on all the way from Italy through the magic of live stream. Come on, DJ, I'm pulling you in. Come on, DJ, accept. Yes. DJ! Yay! Hey! All right. African round of applause for you. Look at her. Oh, yeah. Oh, okay. Now we done said you look nice. Thank you. I'm kidding. No, you look beautiful. All right, DJ, I know that you had some thoughts because you were one of the people on the thread that had something that they wanted to say. So share your thoughts and then give us your favorite moments of any of the season.
Well, for those who don't know, I'm native California, and I was actually born and raised in Pasadena, which is a suburb of Los Angeles County. So I know where those apartments are, where she first lived.
Okay, the Dunes.
Yes, the Dunes. I know where those are, and everything resonated with me because I've been on those streets many, many times. With me living so far away from home, every week was like a therapy session for me to keep me from being so homesick. It made me feel like I was there. I could relate to everything they were doing, the food, the restaurants, just the hanging out, the camaraderie that I missed with my girlfriends. It made me feel like I was at home watching the show. And those moments when Issa and Molly, somebody brought up that they kind of gloss over their problems. I actually have a girlfriend who does that. And I'm the total opposite of that. I would rather talk it out, and if we have a little bit of a conflict, not argument, that's okay to have conflict. It's totally fine. But I just feel like if you don't resolve, it's just going to keep going and going and going and going. On the other hand, my friend Stephanie, her and I are so much alike. We don't argue, but if we are unhappy, we say what it is. we deal with it, and then we say, so what are we going to eat for lunch? Where are we going? Let's go have a drink. We'll talk it out, and we just move on. We say, girl, I didn't like when you said A, B, C, D, and E. It hurt my feelings. And I'm like, oh, girl, I didn't even know I did that. Okay, what are we going to eat for lunch? Let's move on. It's a sisterly kind of love. That's the thing that people don't understand. It's not okay to argue if you can't do it effectively. No hitting below the belt. Conflict is different than an argument. Conflict is part of life. If there's no conflict in your life, then you're not human. You just have to know how to have that conflict. And that's where Molly and Issa, they didn't ever come together on that. They didn't argue, but they also didn't deal with the conflict. They just, okay, that never happened. And I didn't really like that, but I get it because I have friends that are that way. The favorite part for me was when I don't know if it was Mika or who said it, but moving away, leaving your family and friends, that really touched me because I'm over here in Italy. She just moved to Colorado. So when I first started moving around, my first move was from San Diego, where was my home, to Singapore for 3 years. Then from Singapore, I moved to Spain for 3 years. Then from there, I moved to Italy for 3 years. So I've been gone for a really long time, and that's hard. So when they say that she was unhappy, I think that's an understatement. It takes a strong woman to just say, I'm giving up my life to support my husband. That is not easy, and I struggle with that every day. So I really related to her character. I don't have the mental illness part, but I get it. Her saying she's not happy is her way of saying, I need help. I need somebody to understand me. I'm not dealing with this. So I totally get it. It's like each one of them, I have a friend like each one of them, including Kelly, crazy self. So I think the favorite part for me was when Nathan broke up with Issa. I was so happy. I was hollering. I was clapping. You know why? It's because he was really stunned that she wasn't like, okay, so why are you? What? She was like, oh, wow. But in the back of her mind, I think she was grateful that he broke up with her because she didn't love him. She really didn't. I think she was just settling. So this whole show, I'm not going to stay too long, but this whole show is my life, pretty much, growing up in LA.
Wow.
Issa did it. I'm not disappointed in the ending because they had to end it somewhere. Okay. And I do think that even though it was rushed, I was like, Dr. Chapter's like, well, wait, the kid was just a newborn and she's 5. What happened? Where are we going? Right. What? But I do think that even though it was rushed, they left a lot of room open to branch the other girls in different series, or even bring them back without Issa and do a spinoff like Power did, where they went back and went over Ghost as I think they left room for that. So I don't think it's over. I just think that Issa's so busy and she was just ready to move on to something else, but I don't think it's over. I just don't. I think something's coming.
Professor D. Faye, she came on with first of all, number 1, sub-point 2, sub-point 3. I'm like, oh, the professor is, and you came on looking all glorious, glory, hallelujah. Wow. The only thing go ahead.
No, I have to apologize that I have no brunch because it's 9:00 at night. Your girl don't eat after 7.
You are the only one who is excused because you live someplace else, because you were about to get the no brunch F. But you're excused because you live in Italy. Definitely. No, it's very late there, and we appreciate you actually. I love when people are in Asia and Europe, and they come onto my stuff knowing it's super late. So thank you so very much. Very much.
No, thank you. Thank you guys for doing it because, again, I'm over here and I have no one to express my feelings about this thing too. Because when I want to talk to my girlfriends about it, the time difference, by the time I do talk to them, we're talking about so much stuff that it never gets brought up. But I think the ending was fine. I mean, it's a lot to unpack. There's no way they were going to make everybody happy, but she did a wonderful job with what she had to end it with. And I think she left the door open. Like Bruno Mars.
Let me find out. Come on, pop culture reference. Come on.
Yes.
Okay, well, bring somebody else on. I love you guys very much.
Love you. Thank you so much for coming on. Yes,
you're
thank
welcome.
You.
Bye.
See you later, my dear. Yay.
Bye.
What was great about what D-Faye said was that talked about LA and how LA was a character in Insecure. Like the fact that we were able to see, and especially someone from you know, the East Coast, like born and raised, you know, do or die, absolutely. But it made me want to be out there, you know, like just feel that energy. So absolutely, you know, D-Faye, thank you for sharing that, reminding us that LA absolutely was a character.
That's true.
It absolutely was.
The other thing about it was showing us the parts of LA that we don't usually see, you know, that it wasn't the Hollywood sign, it wasn't Rodeo Drive, it wasn't, you know, any of those places. It was the regular, normal in between. And it wasn't the hood either. You know, it was the normal in between areas that we never get to see, where, you know, regular people like us would live out in LA. So that was a great part of it as well.
Absolutely. Yes, Hot Dog LA says the rents are too high. Yes, absolutely. Hot Dog says the rents are too high in LA. Hot Dog LA is Mr. LA. That's why I don't live there now, to be honest.
I mean, they too high here too, but in New York, but you know.
Well, that too.
Okay.
That too. I guess that's why I'm in Florida. Anyway, no shade, Florida. Kind of shade, though. Let's see. Is anyone else wanting to come back on and ask or share their thoughts as we go through? We'd love to have you on. Otherwise, so request. Otherwise, I'm going to have Mika come back on so that we can continue, because we actually, the hour has gone so quickly. So we actually, kind of need to wrap. But I do want to get your thoughts. So as we're waiting for Mika to come back on, the both of you, favorite moment.
I would say it's hard. It's really hard for me to pick a moment. I did go back and watch, you know, some of the first season, the second season episodes, and a little bit, you know, towards the beginning of the fifth season as well. But I think that one of the most impactful moments for me was in the last episode when at Molly's wedding, before the wedding, when she and Issa were talking and Issa was helping to get her dressed. And they had so many moments over all of the seasons where, you know, they were just there and helping each other in these very important moments of, you know, every time Issa broke up with Lawrence or broke up with anybody, Molly was at the door with a bottle every single time. And that's from the first season when she broke up with Lawrence. They were outside on the sofa outside of the apartment building. And then they sat there and Issa laid down in Molly's lap, you know, and cried, you know, from that moment to this last moment at Molly's wedding. And just Molly really thanking her. And again, they don't have these conversations. They just gloss over everything and sweep everything under the rug. So for her to turn around to Issa and just to thank her for always being there, it was just really, really powerful. And the fact that I know, you know, the intention of this show is not necessarily based on the romantic relationships, but really it's, you know, they speak of it as a love story between Molly and Issa. Not between Molly and Lawrence or Molly and Nathan or anybody else, because that's the main relationship that this every episode revolves around. No matter who comes in and out, you know, that's the core of the show. So to have that moment in the end, I thought was really beautiful.
Yeah,
absolutely. Tasha.
Yeah, I wish I could have binge watched all of the seasons to pick like my favorite episode. But what really caught me in the final episode was the scene at the end with Issa and Lawrence, where Issa talked about when she reflected on how she got here. And I felt like she was me in that moment, talking about doubting herself and how she had gone back and forth about what she wanted, whether it made sense, how she questioned herself over the years. And ultimately, she realized that no one was doubting her. She was doubting herself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And then she said, in order for things to work, she had to believe that it was going to work.
Mm-hmm.
I was like, you know what?
Yeah, wait. She said, boom.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's all you need. And all
The
this
power
time,
manifestation.
Power
Yes,
manifestation. She said she was the only one down. She said, and then maybe Kelly. And maybe damn Kelly. But yes, what she said in that moment, sort of just encapsulated her entire experience, and just what it boiled down to is don't doubt yourself. And one of the points I made in the post that the other day was we all, see ourselves in these episodes, and they spent 5 seasons walking through life insecurely, just boom, 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 all the messiness, just wading through it. And then ultimately getting to the point where they can confidently say, I did all of that, and I'm here, I embrace it, and I am happy-ish. This is good, and confidently walk into whatever the next life development is. And that is life. It's not perfect. Like, Mika said earlier, we get to be messy, and it's a thin line between messiness and toxicity. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And if you're in that messy space and you're working it out, that's life. And that's what I appreciate. And that scene summed it up for me.
Mm-hmm.
Wow. And you're bringing out emotions. Soul Star says this. I love that it was the love story of 2 friends. Okay, I'm gonna go cry now. And you're not alone, because there were a lot of tears that for the final one, and then especially somebody had asked if we all watched a documentary. I did, and so. Okay, that, as Mika said before, that was even more, to me, telling than watching the episodes, because the episodes are a nice, pretty amalgamation of what they are creating. But then we see what is happening behind the scenes that went into that. So I think it was phenomenally done and smart as hell to be shooting a documentary for release after, while you're smart as hell. Yeah. Smart as hell, I mean. And okay, so I want to give you my favorite moment, but there was something that you said, Dr. Joy, in terms of, the finals, that scene at the wedding where she was thanking her. Am I the only one that was like, Molly, can you please put on some pants? Am I the only one that, I'm sorry. I was like, oh, hell, can you put on pants? For some reason, not that I was uncomfortable, but I was like, can you go put on pants, Molly? That was the first thing I thought. But they were hung. I was like, okay, go put on pants now. But that's just me. I'm always looking at those things, but it wouldn't have made sense for the character. That made sense. Made sense.
Right.
So, I think one of my favorite moments was Coachella.
Oh, wow.
And let me tell you why. Because they're all now in their 30s, right? Borderline about to be soon in the 40s, probably in a few years. And that is the last time that they could actually go to a Coachella and enjoy it. And they didn't enjoy it then. They're basically like, I'm too damn old for this. So it's kind of like this, almost this rite of passage where you make that thing where okay, we're all going to Freaknik. Okay, we're too damn old for this now. Where you discover that you're too old for the shenanigans that you used to partake in. So it kind of reminded me of that, and I think everybody has gone through that, right? Think about, hey, we're going to, and you're like, no, I'm good in my living room, thanks. I like right where I am, thanks. So it's that juxtaposition of wanting to stay young and being young folks things, but transitioning to knowing, I'm not interested in that anymore. And Tiffany was even pregnant when they went. So she was already going through that transition of, this is the last hurrah. And that's probably why she wanted to go. So I think Coachella was one of my favorite things. So go ahead.
A couple of things. I forgot to say this, and we talked about DJ MyThai, but I have to say that Raphael Sadiq and the musical.
Oh,
yeah.
Yes. So
where's my fan?
Speaking of Coachella, this is probably my second favorite moment of the show, of the entire series. This is when Tiffany's in the car with Issa and she's having a moment, right? She's saying things are going to change because she's pregnant and she's not going to be able to hang out anymore. And then, they have a moment, and then Issa walks into the 7-Eleven and sees, God damn it, I always forget his name. I call him East motherfucking Suh because that's what he called her when she walked 7-Eleven. And then he says East motherfucking
friend.
behind the counter. And
okay.
And then Incomplete Kisses comes on. I must have watched that episode, that part, that night 12 times because that song, that position, that part, fucking amazing, amazing placement, amazing song. Yeah. They did a phenomenal job with the music on that show. I mean, if they don't get kudos for anything else, the music was amazing.
Yeah.
So the other thing I want to say, favorite moments really quickly, were the gems.
Yeah, go ahead.
5. I think it was Dr. Joy who talked about not seeing conflict resolution. I was coming out of the live. The first episode where Issa says, or Kelly says they were fake back. Woo! When I tell you that's a real thing to be fake back when you're transitioning in a relationship and you're having issues. I almost wet myself when she said that. I was like, yes, there's a fake back where you're like not really back, but you're trying. Gem. Then in the episode, they were all sitting around. This is probably one of the highlights of the show. When Tiffany said, it doesn't have to make sense to everybody. It just has to make sense to you. The choice has to be right for you. When I tell you how many we make as women, because we want our girlfriends to be our biggest cheerleaders. But it's not necessarily cheerleading the decision. They're cheerleading you. But you have to understand and recognize the difference. And Issa, I think, was struggling with, does this make sense for me or for everybody? And she's like, it don't have to make sense to anybody but you, sis. If this is what you want, go for it. Gem. Yep. The last part of the show, and I'm sure we're going to talk about this, was when Issa looked at herself in the mirror, and the mirror no longer spoke. Issa was sure. I would have preferred Issa to speak back and say, are you good? And for her to say, I got this. But I understood what the no talking meant. And that was amazing to see her being
Yep, they were one.
No longer reflecting. Amazing.
Wow.
Yep.
Meek, you're channeling something with that turban today because you have come up with some gems. Exactly. Insecure powers activate. That's exactly what happened. Well, so let's take a few more comments and then we're going to wrap. I mean, we could go on forever, but we want to respect everybody's time. We only scratched the surface. There's so much else we could have talked about. Let me go on. DM's place, Donna Marie says, and she's speaking to Bronze Girl, if you're married, find a friend. One person can't be everything to you, nor is it fair to them. Amen. Absolutely. Marlo says she was no longer insecure, talking about Issa. Absolutely. Bryson has a question. What's your the favorite soundtrack from the show? We already got a song, rather. We already got that from Mika. Does anybody have a particular favorite?
I don't. I think the music just matches up, always just matches up so perfectly with what's going on. I don't think I have an actual favorite track or anything.
Do you? I do.
We do?
From season 1. I'm trying to remember his, is it called Michael Jackson or MJ? I just want to bop. I'm not going to say it because we don't have the rights. And I'm not going to get flagged. It's like, I'm trying to remember his name, but it was awesome, and I love that. I had that on repeat so much that I can't remember it clearly. But that was one of my favorite. I think it's called Like Mike. It's either Michael Jackson or Like Mike. That's like from season one of my favorites. Yeah, Raphael Sadiq, if you're watching this, you did that. Sir, you did that.
Absolutely.
You did that with ham hocks and greens and jollof rice and my and everything else.
Whole foot in it.
You did it.
Yes.
You put your entire foot inside the tea.
Yes.
Yes. Fantastic. W3P, we see you. Hello. Thank you for being here. Miss Missy, hello. Thank you so much. And guys, if you have a favorite track, put it in the chat. I'd love to know what it is. Donna Marie, thank you for the clapping. Cam the Realtor is here. Hello, hello. I'm trying to go through. And Divine Right, Soror, hello, welcome. Thank you so much for being here. MyThai, again, I have to say thank you for bringing up the idea of doing an Insecure soundtrack set before. Had I been thinking and in my right mind, I would have asked you to do that because that was absolutely perfect.
Yep.
What? See, look at it. Look at God. Look at us. When we come together and say we're going to do things in 2 days, and look what happens.
Here we are.
Here we are. Angela Golden Bryan, another soror. Hello, I see you. Kicking it with Jazz. Wonderful. Bronx Girl, we see you. There are a whole bunch of people. Sabrina Nina is here too. Hello, Steph. Hello. Alyssa Renee, I think I already said hello to a lot of you, but that's what I do in my lives. I like to welcome and say hello. D Tuggle is here, and I didn't say hello. Hello, D Tuggle.
Steph Ravario.
And Steph Ravario. And here's the thing. I am
Right.
Oh, go ahead. What did she say?
She said "Broken Pussy" from first season.
Yeah.
That's her favorite.
I mean,
wow.
Some of Issa's raps were definitely raps in the mirror. Come on now.
Yes,
she had bars.
I don't know. Can you guys hear me?
Hope for it. Hope for it.
I don't know. I lost you guys for some reason.
We can hear you. I can hear you.
You can hear me, but I can't hear you.
Oh.
How very nice. Hold on. Let's see. Yeah, I can't hear you. For all of a sudden, for some reason, I just lost you.
Oh.
All right, hold on. Let me see if I take these out.
Works.
Yeah, can you hear us now?
Can you hear us?
We can hear
you. Yeah, I can hear you now.
Okay.
Oh,
all right.
I think they disconnected. So you could go to hell. All right, so here we go. Let's see. Ann Ellis says Insecure Powers activate. Yeah, from that. Let's see. Famu Ivy is here. Hey there. Hey there. And Indie Arts Creations is here. Hello, hello, hello. Brian Young Creative. Hello. And Gina Noel. Hello. Oh, Wash C, how are you, Sora? Welcome. I don't see any other. DJ MyThai says, I need a soundtrack of just Issa's raps. Can you imagine?
Yes, yes, yes.
That would sell. That would absolutely sell. Wow. We have kind of talked about a lot of things today, but we haven't even scratched the surface. But can I just say that I so appreciate you ladies heralding the call when I said, hey, are you camera shy? Would you like to talk about it? And I know, Mika, you've done streams before, but I think Tasha and Dr. Joy, this is your first. So African round of applause for them, for coming on, and this is your first. Thank you so much. I'm tempted to ask you to come back again, and not even tempted, I'm gonna ask you to come back again. Because you all wait. There are 2 questions before. D-Face says, thank you for having me. It was awesome. And also, you're about to start a fight. Terry Johnson asked this before we go. Who was Team Lawrence and who was Team Nathan?
Oh, okay.
Team Lawrence from day one. I was Team Lawrence from day one. I never faltered.
But not with Issa. Just
I
not
like
with
Nathan.
I just didn't like Nathan
for Issa.
but I was
agreed.
Team Issa, but I was Team Nathan in that I didn't think they were good together. But I liked Nathan.
Yes.
You rooted for Nathan. You were rooting for Nathan.
I rooted for Nathan. I was right, but Lawrence and Issa as a couple, absolutely. But Nathan, I love him. I do.
So were we all okay with them getting together, with Lawrence and Issa getting together at the end?
Ooh. Go ahead.
I was. I thought it was I felt like it was, I really wanted it to happen. I wasn't necessarily sure it would, just because I thought it would be too neat, giving us too neat a package in the end. Mm-hmm. But I do think that it just made sense. It just made sense for them to be together, So I really did like that they got together.
So
Nope. He's laughing.
I wanted them to be together, but not now. I wanted a messy ending, kind of. I wanted them to kind of, maybe the door was open for them to get back together, but they didn't get back together. I didn't want, yeah, and how terrible is that? Yeah, that's a hateration, I guess. I didn't want them to get together, and I wanted to, maybe later on down the line, there's something that brings them together. You know, they still hold a candle for each other. He's come out and professed his love at an event. We already know that. And even when she cheated and they were moving out of the dunes, she said, I still love you so much. And he said, we already knew that.
Yeah.
I need you to get back together at the end, maybe down the line, but make it messy for the end. I know, I'm probably the only one. I wanted not a clean ending like that. Maybe it's just me, though.
But it was kind of messy.
Not to be. I just want. Go ahead. I'm sorry.
No, go ahead, Mika.
No, I was gonna say I wanted Elijah to not be his son. I was like, can we make it messy and Nola's ex? I want to make it messy. Let's make it not his son. You know, I was just like, I mean, I think it's realistic because blended families, more than 50% of marriages end in divorce. You're in your 30s. If you're single, you'll probably end up with someone who has a child, blah, 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 or package. But I was like, a little messy. Can we just make Condola a little hoish, a little thottish, and make it not hit? You know, I would be good with that. You know, like a little, just get her out, and then, you know, they can move on, you know. But I was like, okay, that's fun, right? You know, but.
Why don't you, are you listening? Have you heard what we say today? We are all available.
Listen.
We're available. Don't miss this opportunity. We may be snatched up by somebody else.
Look, that could be a film. It might come out. Look, I'm just saying that could be a storyline for the film. Yep. Who knows? But I was happy that they got back together. I do think that there could have been some mess along the way. Like, it never seemed like the right time. Then all of a sudden it was the right time, and then we're together in an apartment and celebrating.
Yeah, in 2075, all of a sudden,
whatever year it was. To Mika's point,
whatever year. I was like, what year are we in? Is it post-apocalyptic? Is it like
you have to put script or put subtitles on the screen for me to get? It's too much for me. I'm only speaking for me. So I needed them to stay in real time. But again, what can you do? I'm not one of the writers. That's the hardest job in the world, to be a writer on a hit show, because there are so many expectations for you, so many expectations for the characters. I mean, that's the job you dream of, but it's also the job that maybe some people dread, because there's a lot on your back. So kudos to the writer's room.
Definitely. Yeah, it's an amazing job. I mean, and one of the things, this is the funniest thing, I love how Lawrence's mom described Condola, and she said, yeah, she's so nice, she has one braid.
That was shade towards Issa.
Love her.
But in the comments, they're talking about all the names that people had for Condola. I mean, come on now. Names.
Cornbread, canola oil.
Canola.
Yes, canola. You all are hilarious. That's
Condola. Chlamydia. I mean, come on now.
Not chlamydia. Oh, Condola.
Listen,
Condola. Just not with her.
I was not Team Condola. I'm sorry.
No, I was not. Either.
No. And I think because
I liked her, but not for Lawrence.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Condola, really quickly, Condola also represents a togetherness that Issa does not have. Yes. And so if she is together and she's getting the guy, what does that mean for awkward Black girls like Issa? That there's no hope for them. Right. So in a way, that was kind of a good thing that happened. I don't think they meshed well anyway, but she was too together. Because it was kind of a hot mess at first. She was a bum.
Yes, but you know what? Even though she had the appearance of togetherness, she wasn't together. And
my girl was all over the place.
Now she's having a baby, and she's like, I'm going to do this on my own. So here we go. Even though you look together, we still all have the messiness.
Yeah. We still going through it.
Steph Rivario says one of the writers loved Patricia Rasharkin. Her daughter's name is Condola. Okay, from one of the writers. Okay, fantastic. So Condola, it reminded me of Gondola, the Italian boat. Whenever I thought about it, so it's a lovely name. Thank you. Just in case any of the writers are watching, it's a lovely name.
Yes, okay.
So guys, ladies, thank you so very much. You are fantastic. I would love to have you back again. You don't have to say yes on screen, but say yes. Because you all absolutely rock this. And again, for the two ladies, this is your first time. Kudos. You did a great, and I'm expecting to see more lives from you. That's part of what I teach. So I really would love to see you do more lives because you are amazing. All three.
Now
of
your
them.
virtual pussies have been broken. Y'all have done now no longer virgins. Broken insecure style. Look at that.
Wow. You see what the turban does? It brings all sorts
It really isn't a turban. It really is. Y'all know me. This is me.
But for today, we're going to give you the powers from the turban for today. Okay. Ladies, thank you so much. And everybody else in the audience, thank you so much. One nice girl says, thank you for this great conversation. Thank you for being here. Zoila, hello. Old Bird Farms just joined. You could watch the replay. Barry's daughter was here. Thank you so much, Barry's daughter. I'll be doing this, if not once a month, maybe every other month on Sundays, if I can try and catch when our DJ is not on, because it will be like going in between. But I love brunch, so thank you for brunching and mediating with me, the newsing and the noshing. So ladies, thank you so much for being here. And I'm going to sign off the way that I do on Mediascope. Love you for watching. Bid you adieu. You guys, the audience, and Insecure, we're all going to exit stage left. See you guys next time. Bye.
Thank you so much. Thank you. Bye.